Godzilla is now in New York City.
Monster 01 and 02, commence the attack.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to Stomp This Way.
Welcome.
We're back again with another week of Ultraman. Ultraman Taiga, to be precise.
Ultraman Taiga
Precise.
is a movie.
Ooh. New generation Climax.
Ooh.
I love it. I love it. Also, sometimes shortened to Ultraman Taiga the movie. But anyway, simple and sweet. How you doing today, Andrew?
I'm doing all right, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Got off work at 5-something
In the morning.
in the morning, came home, and now I'm recording a podcast.
Gotta love the night shift, don't you?
Oh, you know it.
Night shift is.
Night shift.
I never worked a night shift, so I wouldn't know. But
Aaron never worked overnights.
no, never did. I worked when I was in high school. I'd work at the grocery store till 9, maybe 10 o'clock at night if it was a late night. But that's the latest I've ever had to work at a job.
Wow.
I know. I got it lucky. But that's why I went to school. Anyway.
And some people go to school and still have to work overnight.
Some people go to college and still work overnight, but I am not one of those people. I can't function after midnight. I pretty much turn into a zombie and forget how to live. So it's a good thing I'm not. I don't have to work night shift. But anyway,
Yeah, we're our little tangent there.
we're here talking about Ultraman Taiga. We have, of course, watched the show, and we had watched the movie before. It kind of sort of came back to me as we were watching it today. But, you know, I will say one of the things that is kind of special for us about Taiga, I think Taiga was the last show that we had to watch a fan uploaded bootleg on YouTube.
Yeah.
It was the last one of that we had to watch that way. Because after that, we were pretty much in sync with the Mill Creek releases, I think,
And then
or those new simul streams.
I think shortly after that, they started doing their YouTube.
Yeah, I think
channel.
that's when they pretty much started doing the simul streams after that, and we just watched them as they came out. But yeah, so it holds a bit of a special place, as you know, the last one that we watched the fan upload on YouTube. But maybe we should go back and watch it in HD sometime.
HD.
Because I like the show. I thought it's a bit of a different take. They work for this alien friendly security team, private security team.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty small cast. I think only 4 main recurring cast members. And it's also a bit different with the Ultraman side of it, in that we have our main character Hiroyuki, who does not have just one Ultraman in his head, but 3 distinct Ultramen that he has to live with in his head. And not just different forms of one Ultraman, but 3 separate Ultramen. And it's he has multiple personality disorder. It could be a metaphor for multiple personality disorder, I guess. And anyway, no, but the show was interesting, and I enjoyed it. But this movie is something. It is kind of funny, though, talking about Mill Creek. You know, I think the ones that we've watched so far on the Mill Creek releases, the movies had their own disc, but this movie they were nah, just throw it on the last disc with the last episodes and the special episode.
It just kind of they just put it there.
Yeah. But anyway, Some production trivia. I don't have much. This movie was scheduled to come out in I think April of 2020, but then this little thing called COVID happened, and the release got delayed 5 months until August. And it is kind of meant as the culmination of what they call the New Generation Heroes era, which went from, at least as my understanding goes, and as you'll see in this movie, started with the Ginga show and went through the Taiga show. So every hero, every Ultra between Ginga and Taiga is in this movie, I believe. So plus a couple extra. Anyway, yeah, box office. It was released. I don't have any box office numbers, but it was released August 7th of 2020 in Japanese cinemas. But anyway, Andrew, you want a plot summary? Not a plot summary, a trailer. I'm getting ahead of myself.
And then a cast and crew
the
plot.
Yeah, there you go. That's the right order. But yeah, I've got the trailer pulled up, so let's listen to it, and we'll be back in a bit.
グリムドはタイガのいる地球に現れるトレキがひろゆきの前に現れた巨大な結界行くぞタイガそして現れる伝説のウルトラマン父さんしかしタイガのお父さんに何が起こったんだ待っていたよ我が友よやはり黒幕は貴様か地球を滅ぼすつもりがまさかうちのひろゆきを狙ってるの最後に負けるのはお前だトレキア太郎は息子を守るために自ら犠牲になったんだろうしっかり捕まってな行かなきゃよしタイガお父さんを助けに行くよドラマティックな行こうぜ俺色に染め上げろ行くぞタイガこの宇宙は我が物とするトレキアは俺たちが倒す父さん邪悪な力に負けないでください僕たちは希望を光を信じたいんだ私自身を解放するさあ来いグリムド俺たちは一歩も引かないベータスパークブレストファイナル G ウルトラフュージョンシュートフルミング光線果たしてタイガはそして地球の運命は行くぜみんな今こそニュージェネレーションレッドを使う時だ劇場版ウルトラマンタイガニュージェネクライマックス8月7日公開
All right, well, there it was.
Wow, that was quite a trailer.
That was something. At least it had dialogue, unlike our trailer last week, huh? But
Just music.
just a musical interlude. But anyway, cast and crew. This was directed by Ryuichi Ichino, written by Satoru Hayashi and Takeo Nakano, music by Yuya Mori, effects by Katsuro Noe, and starring quite the cast list here: Yuki Inoue, Ryotaro. What's his name? Ryotaro. Just a single name. Ayuri Yoshinaga, Ko Nanase, Chiharu Niyama, Yuya Hirata, Ryusuke Koike, Tatsuomi Hamada, Hideo Ishiguro, Kinsuke Takahashi, Kiyotaka Uji, and Takaya Negishi.
So, did that guy just not have a last name?
I think it's just a stage name. Some of these boy idols just have stage names.
They don't have real names.
They don't go by their given name. But anyway, you want a plot summary?
Give it to me.
I kept it shorter and sweeter, mostly because there's not really a whole lot of plot in this movie.
No,
but,
not really.
We'll talk about it. Following his defeat by Taiga, Traiga was separated from the evil Lord Grimdo. The new generation of Ultramen used all their power to trap Grimdo, and all of them lost their ability to transform, aside from Taiga. On Earth, Hiroyuki and his Aegis teammates are doing security work as normal, even if Hiroyuki is showing a tendency to be reckless. However, a plot targeting Hiroyuki begins to unfold. Sensing this, the new generation heroes have gathered on Earth to defend him. The plot seems to be originating from Kurosaki, the human form of Tragiar. However, Kurosaki is simply using Taiga as bait. When Grimdo attacks, Taro, Kurosaki's real target, comes to the defense of his son. In the battle, Taro is possessed by Grimdo, and Grimdo, now possessing the power of light and dark, quickly dispatches the Ultras opposing him. The Ultras retreat and regroup. Hiroyuki returns the power to transform to all of the new generation heroes. Taiga, Titus, and Fuma reveal to Hiroyuki that they no longer need his body to transform, but they decide to stick together for this final fight as their bond gives them strength. All of the new generation heroes go to battle Tragiar and the infected Taro. Taiga is successful in separating Taro and Grimdo, but Grimdo proceeds to absorb Tragiar and become all-powerful. In a final desperate move, all of the Ultras merge with Taiga to form a super Ultra being called Ultraman Raiga. Raiga is able to destroy Grimdo with the shared power of the Giants of Light. In the final scenes, we see the new generation heroes return to space. Taiga, Titus, and Fuma have separated themselves from Hiroyuki and bid the Aegis crew an emotional goodbye as credits roll. More or less?
That is basically everything.
That is the plot.
That is everything.
That is the whole plot. This movie is basically a series of introductions of returning characters and a little bit of plot sprinkled in between. But it starts with the frozen eye of Sauron floating in space. And yeah, the eye of Grimdo is just the eye of Sauron.
Yeah.
Just straight up. But yeah, I don't remember if this was in the final episode of the show. Maybe it was in that special episode.
I think it was the special episode.
Which I don't even know if we ever actually watched or not. But apparently, then prior to the events of this movie, the Grimdo, who was, I guess, the thing possessing Tragiar or merged with Tragiar or whatever, had been separated from Tragiar when Taiga...
Part of it has been separated.
Yeah, when Taiga hit him with like his Mega Blast or whatever, and then all the new generation heroes came together and
had to seal it
away, but they used all their powers and now they can't transform or whatever. I don't even really know why I guess maybe it was in a prior episode or something, that's why, but why they even bother to set up that they can't transform, because just like so many plot issues in this movie or obstacles in this movie, it's resolved so easily. Like Hiroyuki just goes around handing out the ability to transform like candy in this movie. Yeah. He's like, oh, here's your powers back.
It might have been explained.
I think they had given him like their little wrist tokens, whatever, so they could steal away. No, maybe we should have revisited that special episode before we watched this. But anyway.
But we did.
We did not. Anyway, so that's the basic setup. They can't transform, blah, blah, blah. But we're gonna have our scene. Luckily, this movie does not have a 15-minute recap of the television show. Nope. I'm glad they've gotten rid of those. But we're gonna have a reintroduction scene where the Aegis crew, which, like I said, they're like private security that works with aliens or something. They were tasked to provide security for this thing that I don't think really comes back into the plot. I don't think this opening scene has anything to do with the plot except to reestablish our characters and to establish that Hiroyuki is...
They're just on a job.
Yeah, they're just on a job. And they were trying to also establish that Hiroyuki as being reckless because he knows that he's got 3 super ultra beings in his head that will defend his body. So I guess he can afford to be a little reckless. But yeah, they're on this job. This alien Dada is trying to steal something. And, of course, there's like a little adventure.
And what's the other guy that was with him?
Alien, I don't remember. I think he was like an enemy of theirs in the show that turned friend.
They're like the pirate people.
Yeah, the pirate guy with the blonde hair and the silver face or whatever.
And, he got injured in the first...
He took a bullet for, I think his name's Isaki, the other guy on the team. And
he was just like, I didn't think I'd ever had to take a bullet for you.
Yeah. And anyway, they proceed to beat up the bad guys and get the thing back. And anyway, so...
Defend their reputation
and not go bankrupt because they would have to reimburse the cost of this artifact. But yeah, because the one alien makes a quippy comment like, do we have to chase after it? I'm sure they've got that insured. But Anyway, so yeah, that's the opening, and then pretty quickly we're going to be introduced to some returning characters because the boss goes away, and Isami, is it Isami?
Mm-hmm.
Or is Isami the one in the blue jacket? I don't know. One of the brothers from the previous show, the older one, shows up and is like, he's giving them a fake proposition, but he's offering them a job to defend his.
Isami is the blue one.
No, Isami is the blue one.
Yeah, it's Isami.
Whatever. That's what I said, isn't it?
You said Isami. It's Isami.
Isami. They use whatever. I'm not gonna go over the pronunciation of these names, but I think they usually accentuate the first syllable, but stress the first syllable in their names. But anyway, the older one comes and offers them like to defend his little like street vending clothes shop that he started. And, we need all the ultras to be together. So their shortcut for getting 3 of them in here is going to be he and his younger brother Isami and the what's his face that is Ultraman G are all working for his little street vending clothes shop or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's all a front because really they've come to Earth to defend Hiryu. I don't know. One thing that the movie, listen, they're pretty light on plot. I'm not too concerned about it. Mm-hmm. How did all of these people figure out that there was a plot to target Hiroyuki, whatever his name is?
Because they're ultras.
Because they're ultras. I don't really know what the inciting incident for them to all come to the conclusion that he's being targeted by somebody is, but anyway, they have. So all the new generation ultras have gathered on the planet because the boss goes to like the underground alien part of town or whatever. I don't know what
market thing.
Yeah, I don't know what her plan was. If Guy wasn't there, if she was just gonna get
she's good at.
She's a solid fighter, but I don't think she'd have been able to beat up all these aliens. But she goes, and of course, she's asking them who's targeting Hiroyuki, and they laugh her off and they circle her. But Guy shows up in the fashion only Guy can with the cowboy hat
and the cowboy music,
the Western music, and he helps her beat up the aliens and all of that. But
because he's cool like that.
Yeah, and see who else do we got to be introduced to? We've got to be introduced to Ultraman Daiichi, and the way we're Isaki and the one vice president chick are going to meet the one alien that pretends to be a homeless man.
Yeah,
and she's got her tablet and it gets infected by Grimdo or whatever, and then it gets a virus or whatever, like an alien virus, and so then Daiichi just shows up and is like fixes their problems.
Because he's really good.
She gets infected and starts doing like the Grimdo dance or whatever.
The ceremonial thing.
Yeah, and he comes in. And I love that the Ultramen, I mean, I guess this is not their universe, for most of them, so they're not that concerned about it. But, they're always usually so secretive about their identities, and they're all just dropping left and right. I'm an Ultra hero.
Yeah.
It's like, we're just giving out our identities like candy too around here, I guess. But, we got to cut to the chase on this thing, so it's okay. But we're going to go and we're all kind of going to gather, and the aliens attack Hiroyuki and the Rube brothers and Jeed at their little supermarket thing or flea market thing, and then Grimdo shows up and the aliens get scared and run off, and then Tragiar as a Kurosaki shows up on a rooftop, and so the Ultras go to fight. Well, at least who is it? Taiga and the Rube brothers go to fight.
Because 3 better than 1.
Yeah, they go to fight Grimdo, and of course they get beat. Well, first of all, they're holding up, and then I love it. Isaki goes to the rooftop to confront Kurosaki and tries to fight him, but then as soon as he figures out that Hiroyuki isn't the target, he's like, whatever, I'll just stand here in the background and let him unfold his evil plot.
To be fair, he got beat up earlier.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't going to be able to beat Kurosaki in a fight, obviously, but And then later, like Taro shows up. We saw Taro in like an early scene where he, and I think this was all explained in the TV show, but Taro and Tragiar used to be like best friends in their younger years, but Tragiar, whatever, fell to darkness or something.
Fell to darkness.
And they had a scene where they were talking earlier on like the Chaos Planet or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Taro shows up and is fighting, and then he goes to do his ultimate dynamite move where he like hugs somebody and blows up.
Yeah.
And it results in him getting possessed by Grimdo. So now Grimdo has his powers and Taro's powers, and so now he's like super powerful. And he quickly dispatches the Ultras that are trying to fight him. And at one point, it's also funny because the Ginga guys, his name's also escaped me at the moment, but they show up and as in human form and do like one roundhouse kick or flying ninja kick at Kurosaki, and then they also give up fighting him and just stand in the background and let the evil plot unfold. But anyway, so yeah, now Taro's infected, and we're gonna have like this whole family drama thing about, you know, the Ultras. Everybody retreats, and Taiga's like, you know, trying to brush it off like he's cool, like, oh, my dad's, you know, thinks he's so cool, but he can't even fight this evil guy, or he gets possessed so easily, and then Hiroyuki's like, if you're in pain, you can just tell me, and
we have a bond stronger than
the theme of the movie is going to be, you know, the theme that we've hammered over and over and over, the power of friendship,
the power of bonds,
the bond of friendship and working and teamwork, the power of teamwork, and you know, all that kind of stuff. And anyway, yeah, so that happens.
Yes, it does.
And what else happens? Not really much. There was a hint. There was a hint dropped earlier where the Ultra, you know, because there's like there's scenes, you know, that they would have throughout the show where Taiga and Titus and Fuma would be like little hologram like things, talking to each other, and they started to talk about something and then shushed it up, and then they're gonna, again, just like everything in the movie, it's like one scene and resolved where they go to Hiroyuki and they're like, actually, you know, we're completely healed and we don't need you anymore. We can transform by ourselves. And they have a little heartfelt conversation. And by the end of the conversation, they're like, you know, Hiroyuki's like, it's our bond that makes each other strong. And they're like, okay, we'll stick with you. Like, it's one scene and it's resolved. Whatever.
They had to keep it going.
Yeah, they have to keep it going because I counted them up. What did I say? There's no less than 13 Ultras. That's including all the new generation heroes. That's counting Titus, Taiga, and Fuma as separate Ultras. And then even Grigio makes a brief appearance at one point. And then, of course, counting Taro and Tragiar as Ultras. 13 Ultras in this movie. That's not to mention the kaiju in this movie, and the aliens.
Aren't a lot of kaiju?
Huh?
There's only a lot of kaiju in this movie.
I mean, no, there's Grimdo, which is like some,
and then there's Grimdo and
the pocket. He called him the pocket, the little token kaiju that Tragiar launches, and there's some kaiju from the shows, and then there's a fair amount of aliens. There's Dada shows up. There's
aliens. There's the underground market.
Yeah, aliens. there's a lot of aliens. Not that any of them in one particular play particularly large roles, but I mean, Isiki, I believe, is an alien, right? Wasn't that a big subplot that he was an alien and he was trying to hide his identity? And you know, there was like the whole sweet thing of Hiroyuki was like, will be his friend forever or whatever. And there are two aliens. Well, Hiroyuki's not really an alien, but you know, aliens getting it, but whatever. But anyway. Anyway, so yeah, we have all those. But this is not really a movie focused on, you know, telling a big plot or themes or whatever. This is a celebration movie. We've had these before in this series. This is a celebration movie of, you know, this era of Ultraman, and we're gonna, you know, bring them all together, get the actors back, all the actors except for the actors for Grigio, who I guess either didn't want to do it, they didn't want to pay her, didn't have time to fit her in, scheduling conflicts. I don't know what the issue was. Maybe she was a couple years older at this point, and she was like, I'm a teenage girl, and you're not gonna embarrass me with an Ultraman project. But anyway, we're gonna get these actors together, and I think, listen, like I said, it's a 70-minute movie. They don't have time to give all these people character arcs and stuff. But I do think
they already had all their character arcs.
Yeah, but I do think they give a valiant attempt of giving each of the human actors enough screen time so it's not like a one and done cameo and they're out of here. They each are in at least a handful of scenes, and you remember their human characters.
Yeah,
which is good, and they all get a proper introduction and all of that. So I do appreciate that part of it. But yeah, we're gonna be about 45-minute mark of this 71-minute movie. We're gonna start the final battle. Traigar unleashes a handful of kaiju, and so Taiga, Fuma, and Titus go to fight Traigar and the possessed Taro, while the rest of them fight their little kaiju. And at first it goes pretty well. Taiga is able to separate Taro, and Taro's fighting it, and Taiga's able to help him separate himself from, they do their little hug explosion off, and Taiga's explosion wins, I guess, and
because there's 3 instead of 1.
4
instead of 1.
I mean, because they called themselves the
Trio,
Tri-Squad team or whatever, and he's like, we're the 4 of us are the Tri-Squad team. I'm like, well, you can't be a tri-squad if there's 4 of you. You'd be the quad squad. But that sounds like a bad workout group. But
the quad squad.
The quad squad. But anyway, so he wins. He separates the 2. But then, I don't know, does Traigar, I'm sure he makes appearances further down the line that I forget about, because no one really dies in these shows. But are we supposed to see the thing that he dies when he gets like absorbed by Grimdo? Because he doesn't just float up into his mouth or whatever, his belly. He actually disintegrates and gets absorbed by him.
And he's like Traigar's like him now, because he was talking through Grimgar.
Yeah, well, he says like 2 names. He says Taro, Taiga.
And then you see his face at the end before he got destroyed.
Yeah, that's true. You do. But does he die when he gets destroyed at the end? Anyway, so yeah,
nobody ever.
Grimdo grows like several times his normal size and envelops the world in darkness, and then the Ultra is like, they're getting beat, and it looks like Taiga's about to get like incinerated, but Taro goes up and puts out a shield and blocks the attack and gives Taiga and the rest of the Ultraman time to
he's like, use your powers and give it and put it into his horns.
Yeah, and so they all merge their life force with Taiga or whatever. There was several movies in a row, several movies ago, that they did this at the end of every movie, where all the Ultras would combine with the newest Ultra from the latest show or whatever. But they had kind of gotten away from it, but we're going to bring it back for this movie. And they merge into Ultraman Raiga. We'll be doing a movie about a Raiga next week, but different Raiga. But
he's like an ultimate
he's
Ultraman.
The ultimate Ultraman, and he does his ultimate blast, and it blows away Grimdo and saves the day or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the movie. We'll have a 5-minute coda where all the Ultras are congratulating Hiroyuki, and then they all fly off and they get their little individual
bye.
Sign off as they fly into space.
Bye.
And then
we have a whole credits scene.
Well, then we have the scene where Fuma, Taiga, and Titus have separated from Hiroyuki, and they give an emotional goodbye and to the Aegis crew who are all standing there. And there's some funny bits where the captain has made them official mascots, and the one chick has a crush on Daichi, and Isaki's he's usually very stoic, but he's gonna start crying. And Fuma is like very, standoffish, but he's gonna say goodbye, and they do all this bit, but they fly off into space, and then yeah, we get a credit sequence that most of these movies do this, where we like
the whole series,
recap the show. Now I do appreciate this one. Usually it's like a black screen with the credits on one side and then a little square of like the recap playing, but it's like the full screen is the recap just with the credits superimposed over the recap, and then like a still photo of like the new generation heroes across the bottom.
Yeah, it's it's neat.
It's a better visual than usual, but and then no after credit scene on this one, but
oh no,
I know, and then that's the movie.
That is the movie.
What'd you think?
I thought it was a decent movie. It had everything you want in Ultraman beating up big monster.
Yeah, it's basically a giant kaiju melee.
Yeah.
Again, like most of these movies, it's gracefully short at 71 minutes. It
barely feature length.
And this movie is, like I said, it's a celebration of the era. So they're not concerned about a lot of plot and stuff. What they want to do is get all these new generation ultras and actors together and let them have one big last send-off adventure. And I think this is the last movie that we've seen a lot of these actors in, at least. Maybe not the ultras, but so that's neat. But yeah, but like I said, it's not a lot of plot. Everything's, they fly through everything real quickly. Any like conflicts come up in one scene are usually resolved in that same scene.
Yeah.
Not a lot of character arcs, and just the normal Ultraman themes of the power of friendship and teamwork and all of that kind of stuff. I do love seeing Taro. Anytime we get an OG Ultra brother, that's a nice little present. But yeah, I think it's a pretty fun 70 minutes. But
you want to get into creature design?
Sure. I don't know how many we want to do, but let's do.
I mean, there's not that many to do.
There's 13 ultras, but we'll just talk about the new ones, or the ones specific to this show. So, what do you think about Taiga? Taiga, he's Taro's son.
Yeah.
So he has the horns.
Yeah.
Maybe not as pronounced as Taro.
Nobody has it pronounced as Taro.
Well, Ultra Father maybe. Taro is like a combination of Ultra Father and Ultra 70. He's got the head crest with the horns, and then Taiga, I don't know, he doesn't really have like a head crest or like a really standout head crest, but he does have the horns.
Yeah.
And he's got kind of like a red and silver, I think, color scheme going on, and he can change forms into a few different forms, but we have Titus, who's like a very got a padded suit. He's a very like muscled up guy with like
a strong ultra,
almost like a star shaped color timer, I think, and he's the strong man. And then we have Fuma, who's like the fast guy, and he's kind of got the blue and silver color scheme like you would see with Cosmos or something. He's thinner, obviously, because he's supposed to be quick and agile. And I like him. And then they'll merge into their trifecta form or whatever. And it's like basically Taiga's suit with a different color scheme. And then they'll turn into Ultraman Raiga at the end, which he has like some very like almost like a straight vertical like fins on his head, and I think a head crest in between. And,
he looks cool.
Pretty neat little look. We have Tragiar, who I think we talked about him in the last movie.
We talked about him.
He's got like the mask thing. He's kind of got like a purple and silver color scheme.
He's the exact same as the last movie.
And then we have Grimdo, who's like I said, he's got like the Eye of Sauron going on. Sometimes he's like in a gaseous like purple cloud form, and then he turns into like a kaiju with like
one big eye,
the dinosaur kaiju with the big eye, and then he grows bigger and gets like a stomach monster.
After he consumes Tragia, he grows bigger into his like true form.
He gets like a stomach monster thing going on, and all that kind of stuff. And he looks good for a kaiju.
Yeah, we have all the other old
and
kaiju.
all the other ultras. We've talked about them ad nauseum in the past, and the kaiju from the old show. I don't even remember which ones were in here.
We've talked about them several times.
We've talked about the kaiju and stuff, but Then we got the aliens, Dada's here, and the one that
Dada.
we talked about, and others. But yeah, that's those are the ones specific to this movie. And then and getting into effects, I think they may have spent a little more time and money on this movie because it was an event movie.
And they had 5 extra months.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they did any work on it after the fact. Maybe they did a little more post work on it, but I do think the model work in this movie, I think is actually really good. They really took the time to build out these large model sets. There's not a whole lot of CGI in this movie. I mean, there's some when they're in space a little bit, or when Grimdar's growing. But even when he's like really big, he's still mostly a suit, and then they just have him superimposed on the same screen together.
When he's like a giant gaseous eye.
Yeah, obviously if he's gas, he's CGI. But so I appreciate the commitment to practical effects, and yeah, the model sets are actually really impressive. They're really big, and you can always tell that they took a lot of effort to put moving objects in the foreground. Like there's a scene where they're fighting at one point and they fall, and there's like a spinning carnival ride in the foreground. Or there's another scene where there's like I don't remember what it was, but there's always like cars in the foreground or some kind of like bouncing street lights in the foreground and stuff. So I really appreciate. I think the model work on this movie was really good, better than the last couple of movies that we've probably covered for Ultraman. And I think all the suits look really good. The kaiju, like I said, look good or put together well. I think some of the couple past movies have had problems where they've like added like, shoulder pads or something to the kaiju that are really floppy, but I didn't really notice that so bad in this movie. There's no like prolonged like aerial battle sequences with bad CGI or anything like that.
Yeah.
All the beams and explosions and all that look really good, I think. Yeah, so I think good job on the effects.
Good job.
And score, I think the score's fun. I mean, it's your pretty typical Ultraman score, but I think especially in that final battle, each Ultraman gets at least a brief little interlude for their theme as they're fighting their individual kaiju and stuff. And I don't think Taiga's theme stands out especially in any way, but just hearing all those Ultraman themes as they're all getting their little moment was neat. And,
Ginga is probably the one.
Ginga has a very unique theme that I always can pick out.
And
Orb, of course, has some unique music associated with him.
You didn't hear the flute thing at all.
He didn't do the flute thing. There was the Western music that followed him around. No flute this time. He did, or the harmonic, not flute, but harmonica
theme.
So that was maybe a little disappointing, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I still remember that.
but yeah, I think, and the pop song at the end is functional.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that was good. Final thoughts?
Final thoughts?
We'll go for it.
Well, this movie, I thought, like I've said, I thought it was a pretty decent Ultraman movie. It had action, it had kaiju, had a lot of ultras.
Yes.
A lot of ultras. At any of this, a lot of the new generation stuff had a lot of ultras.
It's almost like, when you go to like Sonic or something and you can get all these different drink combinations, like in this movie with all the different ultras and they all change forms. Several of them combine and then they all combine. I mean, it is almost like
combination.
Some crazy drink combination you get at Sonic or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyways, the score in this is good. It's just a combination of every single theme you could think of from an Ultraman series.
Yeah.
And, the effects in this look good. They don't use a lot of, CGI in this, so that's a good plus. Because, when they try to put too much, they kind of don't have enough money for it.
Yeah. Don't have the money or the technology usually, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, I thought all the, practical effects, all the suits, all the models, all the monster suit designs all look pretty good, All the good beams and, weapons and power-ups, they all looked as good as they usually do. And all the acting is, it's passable for any good Ultraman experience.
Yeah, they're all veterans in their roles at this point. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. And I think, I'll give this movie I'll give it a C plus.
All right, yeah, listen, I think this movie accomplishes what it sets out to do, which is be a celebration of the new generation heroes era of Ultraman, from Ginga through this show, Taiga. And yeah, listen, it's 70 minutes. They've got to fit in 13 different ultras and plus some bad kaiju and aliens and other human characters. And so there's not going to be a whole lot of the characters don't have room to breathe in this movie. No one gets a really big individual moment or character arc or theme or anything like that. We're just going to have the basic Ultraman themes with the power of teamwork, power of friendship, so on and so forth. And then we're going to get a whole lot of kaiju action and a whole lot of introduction scenes as we introduce and say goodbye to each of these individual ultras. But I don't mind it. It's 70 minutes. It doesn't overstay its welcome. I have fun, revisiting all these ultras from these different shows. And yeah, I think it's a fun little 70-minute ride. There could be a little more plot. They could have tried to make some more things make sense. But I appreciate the effects and the dedication to practical effects. I think they did really good work on the models in this show. I think the suits look good, and that's really the important things. I think the fight choreography is pretty good. And yeah, I had a fun little 70-minute ride. I'll give it like a and I always love seeing one of the original Ultra Brothers, and this movie has a lot of Taro and a lot of reverence for Taro, and so I appreciate that. I'll give this movie like a B-. I thought it was a good time. Ooh. So yeah. Anyway, couple of little things.
A little bit of news.
They have confirmed that the Godzilla -1 sequel will begin filming at the end of this month on August 30th.
Ooh.
Probably with a target release date, I'm assuming, of next fall or winter.
They usually try to get these things out fast.
They usually the turnaround time on Japanese movies is usually pretty quick. And he'll have more money this time around. Last time it was literally just like a very small, there was 6 people working on the effect, maybe 13 people working on the effects. I'm sure he'll have a bigger crew this time around, more money to do things.
And somehow it turned out way better.
And won the Oscar that year for Best Effects. So yeah, it shows them, huh?
You don't need a big hundreds of people. You
don't need 5 different CGI firms with 100 and 200 employees each working on the movie.
You just need a good 13 people that
have real passion for their work. Are willing to work for low wages and long hours.
And, communicate with each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All in the same room.
That's exciting. And, of course, as I've been doing my review series on the Godzilla Marvel crossover, this one was a big one. As I said last week, 2 of my favorite fictional characters. We've got Godzilla versus Spiderman. And wouldn't it have been awesome if it was like the Japanese TV show version of Spider-Man?
Oh my goodness.
And he got his big robot at the end. But
and to let y'all know, we did watch that.
Yeah, we did watch that. But no, that's not what this is about. It was interesting. It was basically a brief retelling of the black suit Spider-Man arc. So basically it starts, he's already got the black suit, he got,
Did they have emo Spider-Man?
He didn't go full emo, no, but he's Black Suit Spider-Man at the start of the comic book. This is before he realizes what the black suit really is. He just thinks it's like this weird alien fabric. And, he's going around, he's fighting Shocker, he's having an affair with Black Cat.
Of course.
All the good stuff. And then Godzilla shows up, and of course, Godzilla's roar, Venom doesn't like sound. Yeah. Godzilla's roar separates Peter and the symbiote, and then the symbiote gets on Godzilla, and it turns out that Godzilla, the whole reason he was here was because he sensed an alien symbiote invading his planet, and of course he's the protector of Earth, so he was coming to kill the symbiote. Well, now the symbiote's on him, and it combines with him, and there's a struggle, but now the symbiote's going to use Godzilla's body to destroy the planet. So Spider-Man, Mary Jane, he has to say Mary Jane. There's this whole funny love triangle bit with him and Mary Jane and Black Cat, and Mary Jane and Black Cat quipping at each other. But he gets one of Shocker's little vibrator things, and he uses it to make some supersonic sound or something and get Venom off of Godzilla. And then Godzilla supercharges his ray and incinerates Venom. And then at the end of the comic book, it's like I said, it's a retelling of that arc. So at the ending of the comic book, Brock shows up to take pictures of the carnage.
Oh
and
my goodness!
Finds a piece of the surviving Venom symbiote, gets on him, and that's how he becomes God Venom. So he's like Venom, but with like Godzilla spikes.
Oh my goodness! God Venom.
And then Godzilla returns to sea, and Spider-Man, thanks him for saving, him or whatever. But even though Godzilla kind of destroyed the city, but whatever. It was a fun comic book. It was a lot busier than the other ones, like in terms of like there were a lot of panels with a lot of stuff going on in the panels. So you got
a lot of triangle.
You got to really study the panels to catch all of it, whereas the other ones were a lot more one sheets and stuff like that. A lot of dialogue in this one, and a lot of little word boxes where the author or whoever was like explaining like Spider-Man is where, because they're retelling it, so he's kind of having to like give like little, sometimes like little fake or kind of like inside joke context clues of like where we're at in the Spider-Man story and why he's got these things. Yeah, but there's a lot going on. But I enjoyed it. I thought the artwork was really good. Of course, I love Spider-Man. The Black Suit Spider-Man arc is one of the big arcs of Spider-Man. So to combine that specific story with Godzilla was, I think, a really neat idea. I complained about in the Hulk comic book where we didn't get a like straight on fight with Hulk and Godzilla. You don't really in this comic book either. There's a scene where before Spider-Man and Venom separate where he's like trying to lead Godzilla away from the city center or whatever. But also you don't really expect Spider-Man to fist fight Godzilla like you would expect Hulk or Thor to, fist fight Godzilla. So I'm not really going to complain. I mean, he could have done some things where he like webbed up his legs or something, but they don't really go that route.
Those are some big legs there.
So I enjoyed the comic book. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought the way that, like I said, they combined that specific Spider-Man arc, which is one of his more famous, and retold it with Godzilla in the story was fun. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Solid comic. But other than that, what do we got coming up on the schedule? I know next week is Raiga, God of the Monsters. You excited about that?
Oh, yeah.
I added a couple of things to the schedule. So, next week is Raiga, God of the Monsters, and then we'll review Ultraman Trigger Episode Z.
Ooh.
Ultraman Z did not get his own movie. We'll talk about that next time around. I think some of that had to do with COVID, so they kind of combined them into one movie. But then we're going to watch God Raiga versus King Oga, War of the Monsters. And then we're going to watch Ultraman, and we'll be caught up. Well, sort of caught up on Ultraman after this movie. I think we're actually behind a couple of movies that haven't been released in the States yet. But our final Ultraman movie on the schedule is Ultraman Decker Finale, Journey to Beyond.
Ooh.
And then this is what I got for the rest of the year. The Whale God, which I'm excited about. The Great Buddha Arrival. Oh, no. Those are two SOR Cinema. Actually, no, I got 3 SOR Cinema releases in a row. Whale God, Great Buddha Arrival, and Monster Seafood Wars. Now, Whale God is an actual movie, like from the 60s, like with a real production company.
And the other 3 are?
The other 2 are true SRS Cinema, like low budget affairs.
Actually, Aaron, we've been watching SRS Cinema for like
and we've been, Raiga and Raiga, those are SRS Cinema
and
too.
the next in the God Rig.
And then the Calamari Wrestler is after that.
Is that not an SRS?
It's not an SRS Cinema. This came about, it's like a DVD from like 2004. It came about before SRS Cinema. So
it sounds like an SRS.
It sounds like something they would release though. And then we're going to do the 2 Alligator movies, Alligator and Alligator 2, The Mutation.
Oh, God.
Then we're going to watch Jason and the Argonauts. Then an SRS Cinema movie, which is actually, again, it's an actual movie from the 60s that was just found recently. A South Korean monster movie, like the OG South Korean monster movie. Space Monster Wong Mogwi. So Look forward to that.
Oh, wow.
And then for Godzilla's birthday, like I said, that week we're gonna do like we did the Raymond Burr version of the original. We're gonna do the Raymond Burr version of Return of Godzilla, which is Godzilla 1985
On VHS.
on VHS, because that's the only way to watch it officially.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna do the Sinbad trilogy. So the Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, and Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. And then I've got 4 blank weeks, and then assuming it comes out as it's supposed to, the final week of the year, we will review the new Anaconda reboot.
Mm.
So I've got 4 weeks there I need to fill.
Hey, I got you, buddy.
You're going to say Jaws, aren't you?
No,
Oh,
not
okay.
Jaws.
Because there are 4 Jaws movies.
I
could
got
do
even
Jaws.
worse movies
Oh, no. What is
on
it?
my shelf.
Oh, what are they?
Like the Attack of the Giant Leeches.
Oh, gosh. We could do some like old school Atomic Monster movies. We might do that. I want to save Jaws. Jaws, maybe like a summer, because,
Yeah.
it's usually like a summer movie event. Maybe like a summer thing next year, and we intersperse it like with other shark creature feature movies. And yeah, there's some other stuff we could do. We'll figure it out. I might hold off on the J-horror idea.
Yeah.
Because I think we could probably fill in stuff, maybe expand, instead of expanding into a whole new genre, expand into more other giant monster, giant robot stuff. We may do just a whole different separate podcast for J-horror.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we have time to run 2 separate podcasts. I'd love to do a horror themed podcast, though. That is one of my great
Endeavors.
endeavors in life. But
Maybe when we run out of every single giant monster movie.
when we reviewed, maybe at some point, I've thought about this. Instead of merging 2 podcasts, we could, because like I said, we are kind of getting slim pickings on monster movies. We could turn it into like an every other week thing. Like 1 week we do Stomp This Way, and another week we do a horror movie podcast.
Like we do this, we turn them into bi-weekly podcasts.
We turn them into bi-weekly podcasts. Which bi-weekly, by the way, is a misused term. I mean, everyone uses it to mean every other week. That would technically be semi-weekly. But bi-weekly would mean twice a week. But I digress. That's just
Here
a
we
little...
go into another tangent.
That's just a little thing. But anyway, so next week is, what did I say? Raiga, God of the Monsters, or whatever. So check that out, and definitely check our review out next week. But I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget that you can contact us at StompThisWay1954 at gmail.com.
And you can find our website at www.stompthisway.wordpress.com.
That's right. And remember, we always do take recommendations. I know that some of you have recommended in the past, and we didn't get through all those recommendations. I need to dig some of those back up to see if we missed any, but we always will accept recommendations for movies if we've missed any.
Yes.
But other than that, also find us at Facebook, and you can always give us recommendations on Facebook too if you want to, if you don't want to email us. But find us on Facebook at Stomp This Way, and as always, I'm Aaron.
I'm Andrew.
And we will see you next week.